Well, I was messing around with this Lightkeeper Pro, and to tell you the truth, it's pretty damn good if you use it as instructed. Sometimes things take longer than you think. With the bulbs, if you got a 50 string bulbs, 50 in a string, if it's 50 or 100, that would be 2.5 volt bulbs, because the way the voltage is divided out from 120 volts. If you have 35 in a string, or 70, then it's the 3.5 bulbs, which I have like here. It's a 3.5, but most of the time I use these 2.5, and I don't give a damn how I mix them up, to tell you the truth. But one thing I never realized till like last year, man, because I was like thinking, there's only 1 or 2 bulbs burned out, change them. You know what the deal is? So if you got 25 bulbs in a string, or 50 or 100, in increments of 25, if one bulb burns out, that means the remaining 24 volts are taking another 4% more electricity, I believe it is. And then if 2 burn out, it's 8%. If you got 4 burned out, it's 12%, I think, something like that. So as they start burning out, the other bulbs are taking a hell of a lot more electricity, and then they all just go, and then you got to change 25 bulbs in the shot, right? Now this thing, man, this thing was a pain in the ass. There was one, I'm just keeping this as an extra set, I got loads of lights, man. I got literally 150 feet plus 100 feet, 250 feet, 250 feet strung around at least, and plus there's the ornaments and the Christmas tree, and I don't know, the banisters and whatever the hell else is out there. But this had a broken socket, and because this was on an ornament, and the ornament was like, I guess when I put it away, I freaking messed up the socket or something. So I just bypassed it with a thing like this. And this thing has, what you have in here is like there's like a shunt in each one of these bulbs. So if one of them goes out, the shunt's supposed to activate, but it doesn't always activate. That's where it becomes a pain in the ass. I found out this was the one that was where the shunt didn't activate. So if I pull this out, you see it comes, they go off. And that's another way. You just stick this end in there, and it could be like a bypass for the bulb, and you can see, hey, it works. So I just got to change this one out. It's just, they're not too hard to do, but what I usually use on them is a pair of reading glasses, because they got 1.5 power, and when you're looking at these little prongs, you look at them. It's not that long. It doesn't take that long. I've been just going around every few days. I just check them. If there's a bulb burned out, I change it, because you know what happens? The whole thing just goes. And this thing also has, like if you press this, that tells you it's got juice, right? And that was handy too, because I actually pulled some of the lights too tight, and in the front on a fence. And what happened was it snapped the wires right here, so I spliced them and I fixed it. So this one works too. So I mean, if you just bypass this bulb and press that in here like so, it should come on. Yeah, see, it comes back on because I bypassed it. See, I bypassed it with that. So it's a great tool, man. Some people bitch about it, but Christmas lights can be a pain in the ass. That's all there is to it. But it's a matter of patience, just like any damn thing. Just like fixing cars or whatever the hell you're doing, man. It doesn't matter. Painting something or doing drywall, for crying out loud. If you want to get all the freaking stuff straight, it takes a little more time. But it is well worth it. This thing is definitely well worth it. I actually had, when I snapped, I pulled the wires too tight. I blew the fuses, and this thing's got a little fuse thing up here in the front to check the fuses. So that was cool. So this is the bulb checker in the back here. So, that I found out, well, here's the burned out bulb. So you put it in there, doesn't light. If you change it out, put a new bulb and it works. It does work. And then it's got this shunt thing, which is this. That's usually that wakes it up. That didn't work that time. Doesn't always work. It works I'd say more than half the time, because the first half of these lights, there was a few burned out bulbs, and one of the shunts didn't go, and I did this a few times, and then they clicked on, right? And you gotta press that in there tight to make sure it's good, so now the bulbs are on. But then it worked. Then it worked, right? So the shunt doesn't always freaking work, but it works, I'd say, more than 60% of the time. But it depends on if you don't keep these bulbs changed, they all fry, man. I found that out. So I was going around like, I got lights coming up around here, So every once in a while, I just check them every several days, few days. If I see a bulb burn out, I change it. Because I found out last year, man, I was like, that's I found out just by, then I read later on, if you get several of these bulbs burned out on a 25, in a 25 string, it's 25, 50, 75, 100. Usually it's 25, 50, or 100. Those are the 2.5 volt bulbs. If several of them start burning out, all the other ones that are remaining are taking a lot more voltage. Then, you know what happens? They just fry, and they all just go, brat, and you wind up changing like 25 freaking bulbs. That's not worth it. Because you can buy a whole other set of lights, but then every time you buy a set of lights, what the hell are you doing? I mean, you're freaking going to the store, you're freaking buying the lights, you're freaking, you know what I mean? Then do they match? Do they match the other lights? This kind of shit. So it's easier to just change the bulbs. So, kind of a little pain in the ass, but this thing does freaking make it a hell of a lot easier. Because, man, before it was like total mystery. Hit and miss. Change a bulb, change a bulb, change a bulb. It was like fucking buy new lights. That's how I wound up getting like several hundred feet of lights, because I kept buying new ones, and I kept, and as I finally fixed the other ones, I just put them all up. So, but yeah, this thing's not bad, man. It's not bad at all. Yeah, I know some people bitch about it, say, this doesn't work. It does work. It does work. It's like, in this case, this was a pain in the ass, because this stupid bulb, the shunt didn't go through. So it was the bulb, the shunt doesn't work in this bulb. It burned out, and the shunt doesn't work. Even with the Light Fixer Pro, it didn't close the shunt. It doesn't always do that. Most of the time it does. And then you gotta go through every freaking bulb. But you got the bulb checker on the top, which is cool. That thing right here. That's the bulb checker. That's the fuse checker. And I've used this shit out of this thing, I tell you the truth, man. I got everything working, so it's cool. I'm kind of happy I got it, man. This is the quick and dirty on it. I know in the TV advertisements they say, yeah, just click this thing on, go like this. Yeah, all the lights come on. Then you usually can find a bad bulb. It's not quite always that easy, but it does help a lot. And, even having this, when I had the broken wire, where it can sense the electricity, that helped a lot. Because I had, going across that fence down there. I don't know I think every one of those is, when it goes down that way too, right? I think that's at least 100 something feet, going up and then over and then cross that way. And I didn't know where the hell the break in the wire was, man. And I found it pretty quick with that, thing going around going beep, 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 beep. So it worked pretty good. I got all the ornaments working and shit. And I got these up actually right before Halloween, which is the earliest I ever freaking put up Christmas lights, but I said, what the hell? They got them on a timer, so they go off on right around before dusk, I guess a half an hour before sunset. We're starting to get dark a little bit, and the timer goes off at, that's when it goes on. Then it goes off at midnight. And then I leave the tree on until about 3 o'clock in the morning and shit. You got little lights and stuff. So it's pretty cool, man. I'm kind of glad it's all done. I'm glad everything freaking works, man. That's one of the big hassles of Christmas. Does all the stupid lights work? Yeah, and like this Christmas tree too, man. It's a bitch trying to find a bulb, when some bulbs go out because the shunt doesn't go. On the Christmas tree, it makes it a lot easier because, it's kind of hard to see where everything is on a tree. This was all just laid out, right? I mean, I had this all out in a string across the bed of the El Camino. It was still a pain in the ass because I went through like 47 bulbs, and it was like the third from the last bulb I checked. That was the one that was bad, with the bad shunt. So sometimes it's a bitch, so what can I say, that's what happens.